if you would just look at the general fund, funding looks like it's increased by 27%. But once you eliminate all the financial games and fiscal gimmicks that we've tended to do over the years, is the number what, about 4.5% is the actual increase in funding? Is that correct?
Yeah, I haven't looked specifically, but my guess is between the $2.5 million for the bay and the air quality that was discussed and cost to carry. That sounds about right.
Yeah, and I also had heard mention of 2002 fully funding, underfunding, and it always leads one to believe of basing on a prior year's number, you're making the assumption that the prior year number was the actual funding level. So I don't think we could say underfunded based upon a 2002 number, which leads us to what me and you have talked about quite often, performance-based budgeting, where we're not looking at a dollar figure from the prior year. We're looking at goals and objectives and accomplishing those goals and objectives. And this year's, you were up this year as in a 5-year cycle. This was your year. And there were a lot of positive things that came out of that. And I'll highlight a couple of them. Well permits processed on time from 31% up to 97%, a 40% increase in the number of inspections per inspector. As far as average calendar days to issue permits at erosion and sedimentary control permits, gone from 123 days down to 89 days. All good things. Also, some negative things were in there. And in our discussions, we've talked about that you're only up once every 5 years, but are you committed to continue to look at these numbers on an annual basis?
Absolutely, and frankly, beyond those numbers, because even what immediately popped into my head as you're describing, for example, our oil and gas inspection numbers, the productivity of that has increased. As I mentioned, there's some places we're not getting to. And in particular, one of the things that we're now looking at is where are those places that we haven't done that? So, it's not one piece of data, it's several pieces that we need to marry, manage, figure out, and make sure we're attentive to. I think one of the outcomes of the budget conversation that's happened in terms of what happened to the department over time is, I've said this before, the first things you end up cutting, right, are training, IT, travel, those kinds of things, which are critical for us to be able to have good process, good review. So we're catching up with that now and have a significant commitment on the IT side, training side, et cetera.
And like we had discussed earlier, good numbers, which I highlighted good numbers, and like I said, there were bad numbers as well, but I'm trying to be positive here. Good numbers could be an anomaly. If we do this on an annual basis, we can actually determine trends and find out what the proper level of funding is.
My staff has heard me say, we do not manage numbers, we manage trends.
Very good.
That is absolutely.
And with that being said, I do want to go back to where Representative Greiner was originally when he was talking about the governor's budget book. And there's a line on there that says the goal is to eliminate the permit application backlog. Last year's budget line, it said the number of outstanding as of this date, as of 6/30/2018. Last year it said it was 1,100 for 6/30/18 and 545 estimated at 6/30/19. Now this year, the same exact line says at 6/30/18 was not applicable, and at 6/30/19 it says there's 8,700. So something's wrong there. And something needs to be, because I'll be honest with you, I've worked with you on these numbers. I appreciate where we're at. I highlighted positive numbers, but I go back to early computer classes I had back in the 70s, I guess it was. I'm aging myself. But one of the terms we used was GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. I need to be assured that the numbers that we're looking at don't have garbage going in. So if we don't have an answer to what's going on here, what is the right numbers, because it does affect a lot of the calculations we're looking at.
Absolutely.
Do you have any idea what happened there? Or
I need to ask staff. The only other piece I know, and this goes to the making sure we're managing kind of the totality of it as opposed to single things.
God bless you.
Bless you. Is The permit decision guarantee piece of it does not cover every permit. And as I said, some things end up falling outside of that process. There's another piece of this called the permit review process, PRP, that has its own pieces to it, and we've become more attentive to that. So what I don't know is if we updated some of those numbers.
And I
based on
don't,
peer
like I
review.
said, it is blatantly wrong. There's something blatantly
yeah.
wrong there. And if you can get us an answer, it would be appreciated, because then it will just add to the confidence we have in the other information that we'll be producing on an annual basis. Thank you.
Thank you.